Welcome back to another episode of Selling Success. Becky Skeba-Mancini here, and welcome back to my show. I'm super excited to be here and talk to everyone and tell you guys what I think is going to be happening with the market coming up. So we're in South Florida. Our busiest time of real estate is, does anybody know? The summer. So from June until August, mid-August, we are swamped and inundated. That is our busiest time of year in real estate. It's our busiest 2 months of our entire year. Right after around Halloween, by Thanksgiving, it slows up a little bit until after the first of the year, and then it starts picking up again. Usually people don't move around the holiday seasons. So right after the first of the year, it gets busy again, but starting, I would say, mid-November to January, at least 10th or 12th or maybe 15th when the kids are back in school, it's a little bit more quieter as opposed to the summer. Summer is swamped. So I can tell you, I went to a couple open houses this weekend, and everyone keeps asking me, well, let me bring it back. Everyone keeps asking me, are we seeing a dive? Are we seeing price reductions? And I can tell you, I'm seeing price reductions on properties, but those properties were already priced over where they were supposed to be priced. They were not priced properly. So a seller is just throwing the property on the market. An agent just wants to take the listing, so they're not really doing a comparative market analysis, or CMA it's called. And they're just taking the listing and they're throwing it on the market to see if anything will stick, if they'll get buyers, if they'll actually sell it at that price, as opposed to a serious seller that prices the property right. And once they properly price their property, then from there, the house will make sure it sells exactly the way it's supposed to. So let's give this for instance. I'll take the houses that I had this weekend. So there was 3 open houses that I went to. I was actually going to cancel the third one because my buyer decided that he liked the first one the best. And the price range was from $900,000 to $1.1 million. They were all around the same neighborhood. The first house that we saw was priced at $965,000. It had 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, 2-car garage with a pool. The entire house was renovated except for the roof. Okay. Property 2, the inside was renovated. It was only 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage with a pool, and it had an original roof, but it did have impact glass windows. And the house on that one was about 2,300 square feet, and the first house was 2,900 square feet. Property 3, original roof, no pool, 4 bedrooms, 2,500 square feet, listed at $1.1 million. But it was a 2-story. The other 2 were 1-story. So it all depends on preference and what somebody likes or doesn't like. 1-story versus 2-story. My buyer preferred a pool. So we went to the first house that I knew that he was going to like the most for $965,000. We went to the property, and there was probably, while I was there, so the open house was from 11 to 2. I got there at 1:30. I sat in my car for a little bit waiting for my buyer, and I can tell you, I actually counted, there was 37 people that walked in the door from 1:30 to 1:45 as I waited for my buyer. My buyer got there at 1:45. We viewed the property. He absolutely loved it. It's actually an owner agent, so she priced the property according to her wanting to sell it. She's actually relocating to Orlando. So she priced the property exactly the way she needed it to sell. So that's why she had an influx of buyers in her property versus the other 2 properties that I will get to. So my client looked around. The square footage was amazing. It had nice vaulted ceilings. Everything was perfect. The only problem with this property is the roof is original. And if you've been looking in the South Florida area or the Florida anywhere, and if you have an original roof, we're seeing issues constantly with trying to obtain insurance. The insurance is being higher, then putting mandates in that you have to change out the roof within X amount of time, let's say a year. And they'll make sure, we have to make sure the roof actually has 3 to 5 years life expectancy. So the seller on this property stated to all of the agents that she was willing to do a concession for the roof. So you would have to come up with your buyer and think of a good way to write up your offer in order for them to accept it as far as like your concessions with the roof goes. So I can tell you that house was listed at $965. We came in at $945. And then we did a $25,000 concession because the roof was at its life expectancy. I will not know until tomorrow if our offer was accepted or not, so I'll have to wait till the next episode to let you guys know if our offer was accepted. But I can tell you that I'm going against a lot of offers. And if my buyer was not a first-time home buyer, I would have pushed it a little bit harder because I know that they really love the house. My buyers are a first-time home buyer. This is the first time they're ever placing an offer on a property, and they're extremely nervous. They wanted to come in at $900,000. I told them we were going to waste everybody's time if we came in at $900,000 and the property is listed for $965. I don't want to waste anybody's time, not mine, not the sellers, because that means that we're not a serious buyer. And she's a serious seller in the market. I asked them how many showings they had that day, and they said over 80. So from 11 to 2, over 80 showings. Okay, let's go to the next property. The property that was a little bit smaller, original roof, and it was priced $10,000 lower, so at $955. So first price is at $965, ready to sell for 2,800 square feet, almost 3,000 square feet. The second house is like 2,400 square feet, or 22 to 2,400 square feet. It was small. It was tiny. One of the bedrooms was probably considered like an office and not a bedroom. I think it was 8 by 8 was the bedroom. It was very, very small. But they can market it as a bedroom because it has an office. It has a closet, excuse me. So we went in there and we got there. There was 2 people in the showing already in the open house, and then us. I asked them how their open house was, and she told me they've probably only got about 15 to 20 buyers in that open house. Okay, first house was priced right, over 80 showings. Second house priced way overpriced for the market. If they would have came in at about $935, $925, I guarantee they would have had an influx of buyers. But that's the listing agent's job, to educate the sellers and let them know where the market is. The house was vacant, so you would assume that the sellers were very interested in selling the property. But then me as a real estate agent, I would look, my buyers were like, how come there's nobody here? I said, because they're overpriced. But if you really like this house, this is the time that we would actually get in and probably steal the property, because they're not getting multiple offers on this house. And we can come in lower. We can do like a 1-2 punch and come in at $925, because what are they going to do? Just stay on the market and then reduce the price month after month with their carrying costs? It's going to cost them a fortune. So then he actually was not interested in that property at all. But if I had somebody that was, that's how I would have educated them as far as purchasing a house that's overpriced if the seller actually really does want to sell. Usually a vacant house, if it's on the market, the sellers want to sell or rent the property out. They want to move that property. They've got carrying costs, insurance, mortgage, your FPL bill, your HOA fees, all of those are your carrying costs. And it adds up every single month that house is on the market. And in real estate, where we're at right now, if the house is on the market active for over 30 days, people start to wonder, what's wrong with this house? Are there roof leaks? Is there mold issues? Is it just overpriced? Does the sellers really not want to sell? How real estate agents, how we look at houses when we go on the MLS, and I can't speak for everyone, I can only speak for myself and everyone that I've spoke with about this. They go ahead and they go on the properties and they scroll through and they look at new, price change, and back on the market. We don't really look at those active properties so much because they've been on the market for a long time. And we always wonder, why have they been on the market? Are the sellers not really serious? And, we start to ask the questions, to the other agents. Why is it still active on the market? Have you gotten any offers? Or the sellers just wanting their number and they're just not getting it? So there's multiple reasons for that. I can assure you that there's always a reason. Sometimes they just want to feel the market out and just throw to see if they get what they want. If they don't want to get what they want, then they keep the house. So there's multiple reasons. The third property, no pool property. My buyer did not come with me, so I went to the property alone. This property was in between sizes of the first and the second house, but it did not have a pool. And the price was priced right on this one. The thing that's good about this one, I can tell you, is this. No, the house did not have a pool. I know everybody wants a pool right now. Yes, I'm hearing they're costing anywhere on the low end of $55,000, on the higher end up to like $80,000. But this house had a new roof in all impact glass. But my buyer refused to look at the house because it did not have a pool. I feel like I think that's steering a lot of buyers away. Everyone that's moving to South Florida, everyone from like up north or everyone that's moving properties, everybody wants a pool. It's just very desirable. We're in South Florida. We are indoor, outdoor living all year long. I live up against close to the Everglades, really close to the Everglades. It's actually in my backyard. Me and my children are outside every single day of our life. We live indoor, outdoors, and I know a lot of people come to Florida because they would love that lifestyle. They have been cooped up either in another state or in a cold area, or maybe they didn't have a pool. It's great for entertaining. It's always wonderful. It just depends on what their preference are. Right now, everyone's preferences are renovated in a pool. So if a house needs a little bit of work, they're staying on the market a little bit longer. If it needs a new roof, those are huge red flags. We're having issues with the insurance companies. If they've got impact glass, that's an added plus. But in order to get the discount for the insurance, everything has to be impact. Doors, windows. So you can't have all impact glass and then you're missing the front door or side door or back door. The insurance company will look at that as not 100% complete unless you have accordion shutters to shut those up. So then it can be 100% hurricane proof. So I think this summer, we're going to see a couple of things. Our renters are being priced out of their rental properties. Rental prices are at an all-time high. They're the highest that they've been in history. And I feel like if they do one more intake, we're going to see a lot of those renters purchase properties. So if you are renting and you do not feel comfortable right now and your landlord is not increasing your rent right now, stay where you're at. Don't go rent something bigger, something more, because it doesn't make any sense for you to do that because you're flushing your money down the toilet every single month. Think about it. How many years that you've been in a property? The average rent right now in Boca Raton for a 3 to 4 bedroom is about $4,000 a month. So let's do the math on that. My calculator is taking a while. So 4,000 times 1 year is $48,000. So I have a lot of clients that sold their property 2 years ago. So let's do 48,000 times 2. That's $96,000. I hear all the time, I'm waiting for the market to crash. I'm going to buy a house then. I'm waiting for the interest rates to come down. I'm going to buy a house then. But yet you've just wasted money on rent, $96,000. That's for 2 years of renting. Let's be real. I haven't had a single renter come to me and beg, I've only rented for a year and I want to buy something. These renters are usually in there for like 3 to 4 years before they get really sick and tired of renting. So now let's add another $4,800. That's 3 years. Hold on, that did not do that right. I got to add another $40,000. Hold on. $96,000 plus $48,000 is $144,000 in 3 years. The average rent for a 3 to 4 bedroom house for a family is $4,000 a month. $192,000. Is that right? 96,000 plus 48,000. Oh, I'm sorry, $144,000 a year. For 3 years. 3 years, $144,000. That's a lot of money. If we see the market that's going to crash, for all you renters that paid out $144,000, just think about it. Really think about it. How long have you lived in your rental? A long time. 2-3 years. Are we signing another year of lease for the 3rd year? Are we coming up to year 4? It adds up. And it's not cheap. And when you look at $144,000, you have nothing to show for it when you rent. You don't have a house that you have an asset on. You have nothing to save or give to, say you have children. You have nothing if you want to purchase another property. So if you want to go from like buying a house, I always tell somebody when they're first buying a property in Florida, if they're not comfortable buying the $1 million house, start at $600,000. You know, the rental that you're living in is not going to be everything you dreamed of and more at $4,000 a month. Let's be real. But it will probably like get you by, and you're going to say, it's okay. I don't care if it's not everything I wanted to. It's a rental. So why don't you use that same mindset and do that for purchasing a property? So you can use that same mindset of, it's okay, it's just a rental. I don't mind paying $4,000 a month, but 3 years later, you're at $144,000. Why don't you put down on a $600,000 house? Why don't you put down $30,000? You know, there's programs out there that I work with lenders all the time. They even have zero money down right now. They have 3% down. They have 20% down. It's whatever you feel comfortable with a month paying. And then you can put that money towards a principal of a mortgage. It just makes more sense to me. So then if you want to buy that dream home that you want in 3 years, instead of just settling for a rental, I would just settle for like a $700,000 property. And then you take that, however much money, let's say $4,000 a month that you'd be paying. Let's say you got interest and everything else. So let's divide that by 2 because your first time, but you'll get $72,000 out of that after 3 years, plus whatever other money you save or you get profit on the property. You know, you could have another $100,000. You could have $172,000 if the house increased in value by $100,000 in 3 years. And you'll have $172,000 to put down now on your dream home. $172,000 sounds a lot better that you've invested into your real estate as opposed to paying out $144,000 with zero investment and zero to show for it. I just have a hard time with people renting versus buying, but I totally get it. If somebody's waiting they're just not comfortable yet, I just want them to know what they're paying and how much they're paying and how much money they're actually wasting. So just a little food for thought for you guys to think about it, what makes sense for you. I do think that this weekend was a little bit of like sticking your toe in the pond to see where it's going to be at. I've got a couple properties coming up in Boca Raton. They range from $600,000 on up to $4 million coming. I also have a couple of commercial sites coming up on the market, which I'm super excited about. A couple of high-rise buildings that will be coming up on the market, which is exciting. But I feel like the summer is going to be very busy. Renters are going to get sick and tired of paying that bill every single month, and they're going to realize that if their rent increases again, they got to get out. And we're going to see an increase of renters coming to buy in the market. Another thing that's going to increase the properties again this summer I'm hearing from a lot of lenders that the interest rates might be coming down a little bit in the next quarter. So we'll keep an eye on that. I do not know. This is just what I'm told. So we'll have to follow up on that one to see what's going to go on with that one. But I feel like this summer, it's going to be a feeding frenzy, and we're going to see another increase of buyers hitting the market, trying to move really quickly before school goes back into place and trying to jump on if we get that decrease of that interest rate. And then also next year, we're going to be seeing a bunch of insurance changes. I had my friend Zach Lancet on with Lancet Liabilities, and he discussed everything as far as where we're going to be in a year, like by next year with the insurance liabilities. We'll be seeing more carriers coming to South Florida, which is great because that will decrease everyone's property insurance for the year. We could all use that, let me tell you, myself included. Well, I hope I gave you guys a wealth of information today. I hope you guys have a successful week. If you guys want to know of a particular area, zip code, city, location, whatever, please reach out anytime. I'm happy to help. And if I cannot assist you, I will find somebody else that can. I hope you guys have a successful week. This is Becky Skeba-Mancini. Until next time, guys, have a successful week. Take care.